Drummond, founder of The Well and founding executive director of She's Well Network. Welcome to Well Woman Wednesday. Very excited to have you here. Excited to have my guest here for today. Well Woman Wednesday is an opportunity for me to connect with and interview one of the amazing women who is connected to the well, who is building her own brand and business in her own right for her own legacy and to fulfill her dreams. And so this is a moment where I get to dig in, ask those big why questions, also understand how, and where you get to join alongside us and get some nuggets from whatever lovely lady is sitting in the seats experience. So today we are here with the lovely Jaree Cottman. She is an integrative psychotherapist, a speaker, a mindfulness and movement strategist, and the founder of Afya Counseling and Wellness Services. Jaree is also a member of the Well. She's one of our newer members, and we are excited that this is your first Well Women Wednesday. Welcome, Jaree. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Nakeia. Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. It's like, watching people on TV and saying, wow, I want to do that. And it's like, oh, I'm here.
You are here. We are here, honey. Let's get it done. So,
Yes.
anything you want to share about yourself that I did not share in my intro?
Sure. I'm Jaree Cottman. I'm a licensed mental health therapist, psychotherapist. We use those terms kind of interchangeably. Also a licensed clinical social worker in the state of Maryland. So that gives me license to practice this beautiful heart work of therapy that I have come to do over these last 12 years. I've been in private practice since 2017, and it's been really a work of my heart. It's been my passion that I've been able to take ideas that only exist in my mind and execute them, and really get to connect one-on-one with people, but also in group settings. And that has also translated into working in some corporate and human service spaces as well. So I love just being able to take the same skills and meet people where they are, so that they are able to live their healthiest life. So one of the things that I believe I sort of shared before is that Afya, the name of my practice, is a Swahili word that means complete wellness. And that's the core of the work. So it's not just being mentally well, but being physically well, being emotionally well, being even spiritually well. So that is very fitting to be here with the well. So
Absolutely.
that's
And we
all.
welcome you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And so, Afya Counseling and Wellness Services, what are all the things that you provide? Tell us about the fullness of your practice.
Yes, thank you so much. It started off as an experiment for me to say, I wonder what it would look like to be able to provide therapy in my unique way. In my unique way is that sometimes it means we have to get up off this couch. We have to get into our comfortable spaces, getting uncomfortable sometimes. So that means we might move. We do breath work. We might dance. We might take a walk as we're talking. We might be cooking. We might be making a delicious meal together, or prepping some
Hmm.
things. And so that's the unique approach that I offer. It's really a holistic approach. So the primary work that I do is one-on-one with individuals who are experiencing some sort of emotional distress, maybe noticing the impacts of a traumatic event or experience, maybe a toxic work environment, a stressful home situation. And together we create a plan for their overall well-being that helps them, again, connect with their healthiest self. Then another, because this has been an evolution, another thing that happens is sometimes I get groups of people together that have very similar goals or similar interests. And I'm like, man, y'all just need to come together. So that ends up looking like a group a group therapy session, and I like to do those in series. I haven't done one in a little while, but I'm looking forward to getting some groups of people together because it's so powerful to
Mhm.
be in a group setting, to be seen, to be heard, and connect with other people who are trying to have the same experience that you are. And again, then that can evolve into, well, we need this at my workplace, right? We need a
Mhm.
session, we need a moment, we need space to breathe, we need to de-stress. We need space for the Black women, who are in this organization to be able to breathe, to be able to express their grievances, and to be able to create a strategy for, okay, how do we move out of this space? So that's kind of been the evolution. And the latest addition of services is mindful cooking, is something that I've been offering. So it's really just the fusion of a mindfulness practice, which I can explain a little bit more, with the act of cooking. And because I work primarily with Black women, we know that as Black people, food and cooking is very much a part of our culture. It's a part of how we connect and how we relate, how we tell our stories, how we share our truths. And so that has been a gift to be able to just bring all the things that are part of how we've always healed ourselves as Black people,
Mhm.
into the therapeutic setting, or vice versa, right? To turn a space that's not a therapeutic setting into one.
And
Um,
more.
when we bring some food in and we start talking and we start sharing, it's really healing.
Absolutely. That's why it's a big part of how we show up in the well. I tell people all the time, when you come to a meetup as a member, oh, we're having breakfast. Like,
Yeah.
we're not just having bagels or whatever. We're having breakfast, because we know that we commune and we relate and we build community around our food, and it's really an important part of how we connect. So that's really cool that you're doing that. So you said 12 years you've been in this space.
Mm-hmm.
And what triggered you or made you decide that it's time for me to do it in my own way, to build my own practice?
Yeah. So I had my second son in 2016. My oldest was born in 2013. And in 2016, I found myself on maternity leave and really just reflecting a lot about what did I want from my life, right? I'm home with this newborn baby. I got a toddler that's in daycare, and I'm trying to figure out what do I want, from my life. And I know that my heart has always been with connecting with people one on one. At the time, I was in a position where that was not the focus of my work. I was
Mhm.
more administrative, and being honest with myself, I was like, man, this is sort of taxing. This is tiring. This is
Mhm.
not quite what I thought I would be doing. And so when I would have opportunities to connect with people one on one, I was like, oh, this is what lights me up, because I had gotten
Mhm.
out of doing the clinical work. And so I said, I got to come up with a strategy to figure out this next thing, because these children are looking to me to make something happen for them. And my toddler, who will be 11 in a few weeks, my then toddler, soon to be 11-year-old, had a moment one day, and he's like, I just need you. And I'm crying, the baby's
Mhm.
crying, and he said he needed me. And I was like, oh wow, that's deep, right? He still shocks me like that, by the way, with some of the
Mhm.
things he says.
Mhm. Mhm.
um,
He's a Cancer.
he's a Gemini.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's that Cancer sensitivity,
Yeah.
but
Oh
no,
yeah.
it's a Gemini.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I have that in my chart, and my people, a lot of feels, that flow through our household. And so that for me was like the tug to recognize that I needed more flexibility in my
Yeah.
schedule. I needed a little bit more freedom. I needed to have time to take care of myself,
Yeah.
as well, to be able to do the things that make me happy, so that I can then share that with the people that I love, the people that I care for in my family, in my home, in my circle, all of that. And so I went to yoga teacher training thinking that I was going to bring yoga into the therapy space at a clinic that I was working
Hmm.
shortly thereafter. And I did not walk away from yoga teacher training in January of 2017 saying, I'm ready to teach yoga. I said, I actually can do whatever I want. So from
Hmm.
there, I said, I think I'm going to start my practice. I think I'm going to make it so that I can do some of these creative modalities with my clients without some of the red tape that and bureaucracy that might happen at different agencies. I mean, we need support, we need the guidance, we need to be safe, but we also need to be able to meet people where they are.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was my experiment. I said, okay, I'm gonna just try one day a
Yeah.
week, and then people showed up. Right, I went from March of 2017 saying I'm gonna try one day, and then with that one day filled up within a couple of months, and then I said, okay, I guess I'll add another day, and so now it's this is my practice, this is what I do, and it's really been a gift for me to grow, to evolve, to not be just a number or somebody who's there to just see the patients, but to make these beautiful relationships and connections happen
Yeah.
with our clients and in the community. So
So what is when you just said grow to grow? So what does meaningful business growth look like to and for you? There's a lot of conversation about, what it means to have a successful business, what it means to grow a business. You've got to scale, or it has to be this, or it has to be, like this dollar amount, or you've got to have this number of people, or you've got to have employees and doing these things, or whatever. There's a lot of narrative out about what successful business
mm,
means and looks like.
yeah.
What does it mean to you? What does growth mean and look like for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. And
Mm.
honestly, I feel like that is a question that I'm asking often. I'm asking regularly as I'm moving through year 7 of my business, because it's almost like I kind of stumbled into it. Right, I
Mhm.
didn't do a whole lot of planning. I didn't do
Mhm.
a whole lot of
Mhm.
prep. I literally
Mhm.
January, March. Okay, I got a business. Right, so
Yep.
you know. There are people who say, I always wanted to be a business owner. I always wanted to be a boss. That was not me. That was not me. I did
Mhm.
not intend to do that. But what it has meant for me is to listen and deliver. And so I have been listening to the people that I serve. I've been listening to myself because I am my clients.
Mhm.
I am a Black woman, navigating life transitions, wanting to be healthier, wanting to figure out all of the ways that we can, move beyond our traumas and whatever we grew up with and to figure it out. And so it means I'm listening to myself, but I'm listening to my clients, I'm listening to the people around me. And so if it means that I need to, create a space for people to come in person, then that's what we do. It means that, like I said earlier, if we need to create a group, then we do that so that there is a space in that way. And even this year, like a lot of people, we all experienced that transition during the pandemic. I was completely virtual for the last 4 years, and I have come to recognize the importance of human touch, of
Mhm.
contact, of
Mhm.
of just being able to look somebody in the eye and show them that they are human.
Mhm.
So I said, oh, I need to get back in this office. I
Mhm.
thought I would be virtual forever, but um, it's changed things. And so,
Yeah.
through the listening, it means, okay, we need to have space for in-person sessions, even if it's just one day a week. So that's what success means for me, is to be able to listen to the needs of the people that you serve, to honor that and to deliver on those needs. I definitely, I'm not
Mhm.
100% at it. There's some things that I'm still working at. Um, there are some ways that I have kind of jumped out there and done things and said, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I need to adjust. But all of it is a learning experience. And I think that, the more that we keep practicing, that means you're in action. And that's part of the growth process too.
7 years,
Yeah.
seven, so there are, I know in some medicine practices or like life cycle practices, there's this notion of or belief of like, especially for women, that our life happens in 7 year cycles, right? So like and like even in Christian practice in the Bible, like 7 years being about, completion. And
Mhm.
so if we were to believe that 7 years is a number of completion, what would you say you have completed or learned? Like, what's been the biggest lesson in this first 7 years that will guide you in your next seven?
I think it's probably that same idea of just try it, like just do
Mhm.
it as part of um, that notion that is what I will have to continue to do. That is what I have done. It has not been perfect. It has not been without some losses. It has not been some expensive lessons learned, or feeling like, ooh, that was not probably not the safest thing to do, or whatever it might be, right? But just doing it is how you.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I feel like as people ask me about the story of like the inception of my practice, it really was, and I admire the people who plan for months and
I
years.
know. Me too.
Oh man, that is just such a beautiful thing. But people say, I'm working on this one piece and then it's coming. I'm like, oh, I maybe I should have did that, but maybe not. I don't know. My process is my process. But to be able to say, to just try it. I always say, what
Mhm.
if I just try? What if I just try?
Mhm.
And it literally like has always just worked that way. What if I just try? I said, well,
Mhm.
am I going to find the clients? And then as soon as I activated my profile on Psychology Today, which is a popular
Mhm.
search engine for therapists, I got people sending me emails right within the first
Yeah.
24 hours. I was like, oh my god, they want to work with me.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
where am I going to find this office? And then I found it close to home. Um,
Mhm.
well, am I going to be able to afford it? And it is. And the person who owns the space is also a therapist. So
Mhm.
sensitive to and attuned to the needs that maybe I don't need the office 7 days a week. Maybe I just need it 1 or 2 days a week.
Yeah.
We have a flexible lease term that looks like that. So just being able to put those pieces together and just say, just try it, and take a chance. That's certainly something that I have done is taking a chance over these years. So
Yeah.
it gives me an opportunity to be proud of myself, even at times when that's a little uncomfortable or foreign, or a space that I may not always get to be completely aware of. So that's certainly part of that for me.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And awesome that you can speak to being proud of yourself,
Yeah.
right? Like, I feel like that's something that a lot of us wrestle with,
Mhm.
especially high achievers. I talked about it yesterday in a conversation I was leading. This book that I read that has been pretty transformational called The Gap in the Gain.
Mhm.
And it really is about how high achievers typically live in the gap. This
Mhm.
mindset of like where we haven't gotten, we've got these like big ideals and these big lofty goals, and we only see the distance to it. We don't see the distance traveled a lot. And so you being able to be proud of yourself is awesome. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So, for those who are listening and might be like, all right, that's cool. You take risks, but they like want to know like how, like,
Mhm.
what's your process for deciding like that something is worthwhile, like jumping out there and doing, even if you didn't plan, you don't do it. You made it clear you don't do a lot of planning. But
That's just
you
too
certainly have to have some process by which you are assessing
many.
risk in some way, or making decisions to say, you know what, I'm gonna jump out there and try this thing.
Hmm.
You've kept, two humans alive. Like, clearly,
Yes.
clearly you are like assessing risk in some way. So how do you do that for yourself and your business, but still, like, give yourself the space to just try it, to just do a thing?
Yeah, I think the biggest part of that for me is honoring that, like, I'm a spiritual being, and honoring like the spirit that's in me. Um, I don't know if I would have always named it that or would have always called it that, but I have always been a sensitive person. You mentioned the zodiac sign earlier, so I'm Pisces, so we just like feel all the things, like at the end of the zodiac, just feeling everything. And so, like, sort of, I didn't really understand that. So as a child, people would say, "Oh, I remember you used to cry a lot, right?" There's pictures of, me and my two older siblings, and I'm like always in the middle crying, right? Like, why that girl always crying? What is wrong?
That's hilarious.
But I have probably in the last maybe 5 to 6 years really seen my sensitivity as a
Mm,
superpower. Um,
mm,
that is part of what makes me uniquely me. Um,
mhm,
so it means that, if I feel something, that's a piece of information for me, and
mhm,
that I should honor and I should tune into. And so it requires that, like, slowing down. It requires
mhm,
mindfulness. So I really, it's not, how do I get good at these things? It's not just from speaking about it and teaching classes. It's really kind of adapting a process for myself.
mm,
And so that means maybe I need to sit in meditation. I need to sit in reflection, and deep listening. I need to honor those things, especially if it keeps coming back up, right?
mhm,
Do that to go forward. And so, it does mean that maybe I can't see clients every single day of the week. I don't see clients every day of the week, because I need space for me. um,
yeah.
so if you ride past, you in Baltimore, you ride past Lake Montebello and you see this lady hula hooping in the park in the middle of the day, just just keep going. Just know that I'm doing
Mm.
my thing, okay? It's me, okay?
I love it.
I'm
Lake
glad.
Montebello has a very special place in my heart.
Yes.
When I was a little girl, my mother used to, I was a little girl and I was chubby, and my mother got me active at Lake Montebello. I would skate around it. I tell people she used to tie me to the car and make me skate. That's not
Oh,
true.
good.
She was walking next to me while I was skating, but that's my way of making it a very interesting, dramatic story. But Lake Montebello is like where I first like got like active and like learned to like take care of myself.
Mhm.
So that's really cool that
Yeah,
that's your spot.
that's my
You
spot.
go and hula hoop,
I
and that
do.
really resonates with me around like listening to yourself and
Mhm.
listening to your gut. It's something that I've learned, and something that I think that is undermined, particularly in the business world, because so much of what's written, so much of, like what we the what we mirror or try to mirror in business is male and a white male dominated way of being in business and doing business, and what it looks like to like be successful as a business person. And there's not a lot of talk about an appreciation for that guttural knowing and like the intuition that comes with doing good business, and like taking chances and taking an idea and knowing that there's some there's more here than just an idea.
Right.
So I really appreciate you bringing that up, because it took a while for me to not even just appreciate, but not feel almost like ashamed about the fact that that is how I make my decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And when I ignore my gut for like my head, there is a price to pay for me. For
Absolutely.
sure.
Every time. Every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
And I'm still, I'm still dancing with this, both literally and figuratively, still dancing with this notion of what does it mean to do the work, right? Doing this work of business, of being a business owner. Well, I don't show up that way. And I have moments, right? Someone asked me to speak somewhere and I'm like, ooh, like, I don't know if I have all the data and I don't have the numbers and I don't have this step, 1, 2, 3, kind of
Mhm.
thing. But it's really, I have to pause. Well, where have I been invited to come? I have to think
Mhm.
about, well, who are the people that are there?
Mhm.
What do they need to experience most importantly?
Mhm.
I'm big
Mhm.
experience. So a lot of times people don't want to like hear me talk. They want to feel good. And I want people to
Yeah.
walk away with some skills and with an experience, be able to know, oh, that power that she's talking about, that she found in herself and navigating the business and all that, like I have that in me too.
Yeah.
And I have the ability to tune in to whatever that inner thing is for you, and just paying attention to those themes that come up and show up, that you get to bring that into your business as well. It's not just like, oh, well, that's me out there. Like, no,
Yeah.
that's all of you. Bring it in, make room for it, make space for it. So I'm interesting to work with. It might, you might not again get all of these rules and rigidity. I just had a consultation with a prospective new client and she's like, do you give homework? I said, sometimes, but
Mm.
most importantly, it's going to be attuned to what we are talking about today. It's going to be
Right.
your goals. And if it feels appropriate that you need something to practice outside of our time together, then yes, you will get homework. But do I have a list? Do I have a notebook with homework assignments in it? No. Because just like in
Yeah.
you get a bunch of worksheets, it's like, is this really helping me? I'm not sure, but I want to make sure that it's appropriate and it's fitting for what your needs are.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what's next? Like what I won't even say what's next. What's your vision? So it's not necessarily next because you're walking towards it now. But
Mhm.
what is your vision now that you are, year 7 rolling into, your next cycle? What is your vision for yourself, for your business, with carrying those lessons learned in
Mhm.
your pockets and on your back? Um yeah, what do you take into the next cycle? What do you leave behind? Um
Mhm.
all
Ooh,
of it.
I love bringing forward and leaving behind. That's oftentimes like a reflective question that I will ask my clients as we're like at the end of the
Mhm.
beginning. Like what are you leaving behind? What are you bringing forward? So I love being able to be asked that. So thank you.
Ooh, I'm glad I could do that for you.
Yeah, I love being in the client seat. So I think, and I don't know if I've said this out loud or said this to anybody, but what I think has been sort of tugging at me more lately is having like a designated space for all of the things. And I don't have to do all of the things, right? And so when I
Mhm.
say all of the things, like I want a space where again we can cook, we can talk, we can share, we can have community meals together. I would love a space. Now I'm not getting out in that dirt. I love admiring it, but if the food can be grown, somebody else can do it. I really do try because I have partnerships with organizations that are about that life of farming and growing your own food and all that. And I kill everything though. I kill everything, y'all.
Ah,
So
ah,
I'm gonna just take the food and I will make something delicious with it. I know about the nutritional properties and why we eat it and what it can help with your mental health and all that kind.
mm.
But growing it, I can't do that. But if I had a space where that could be done, um,
Yeah.
and move, I talked about my hula hooping. That's like one of my newest forms of movement for me, but I've always been a dancer. I think back to being a dancer in middle school and high school and college and even beyond that, and how important it has been. I have a dance class on my schedule tonight because I need to dance.
Nice.
a space to dance. So and to just kind of do some more intimate work, to do some group work, if that's what it comes to be. So that's, I feel like being able to have a designated space to do all of those things would be great. I think that's what I'm feeling next, and leaving behind some of the fear and the reservations that come with one, just being a solopreneur.
Mhm.
Also come with when things don't go as you plan. It's like, oh, this is not what I planned, so just forget it. I'm not going to do it again. That's like a trauma response, that
Mhm.
get
Mhm.
stuck in.
Mhm.
And I'm actively moving through the, okay, I said I was going to do this thing, and then I did it, and nobody came. Oh gosh, right? It's okay,
Mhm.
right? Because it's not just about me. It's about
Yeah.
larger vision, the larger,
Yep.
all of that.
Yep.
So I would like to leave behind some of that fear, but bringing forward the wisdom,
Mhm.
embracing of my authentic self, crybaby, dance a girl. She gonna dance some music. I said sometimes I even dance in the grocery store because if the music is right,
The music is good in the grocery store sometimes.
yeah, absolutely. I make new friends that way. It's like, oh, this you
Yep.
do, okay. So
Yep.
all of those things. I want to continue to embrace me. Embrace the bigger vision, and let go of some of that fear. So we'll see what's next, what's ahead.
I love it. It sounds good. And so, as you were talking, I'm like, oh, all of our ladies here, all of our wellness ladies in the well need to connect. Like I'm about to get y'all to like pull y'all together because every time I talk to one of you, I'm like, oh, have you
Mhm.
talked to such and such? Oh, have you? Like y'all got to get together. So we are about to like gather y'all and do an all call and
Yeah.
get y'all all on the same dance floor
Yeah.
because it just needs to happen. And that in mind, one of our pillars is collaboration. Like, who do you want? Who's your dream collaboration with? Like, what would y'all do together? Do you know? And if
Mm,
you don't, I'll leave you with that for
I have
homework.
homework. No, I have not thought about it. I feel like I did make a list. Um, Maybe a couple years ago, but it just stayed as a list, and I
Yeah.
with it, so I feel a little disconnected from it. So that I will take my homework and run with it, because the truth is, if it was really like there, I would know. And so because I don't, then I need to sit with that.
Yeah. And we asked that question because it's like, I don't know who's watching this. You don't know who's watching this. You don't know who they know or whether that person is here. And so sometimes we just got to call that thing out and, say what it is that we want and watch like things come together for us. So I always ask people, try to remember to ask people that question.
Mm. I think I want to cook. So,
I love that.
maybe like but like again tapping into this like therapeutic way of doing,
Yeah. I love
know
that.
what's going to happen. I never know what's going to come up, and so
Yeah.
I feel a little like antsy sometimes whenever I have a cooking demonstration
Yeah.
or workshop, because I might have a plan, a general plan. We might have some ingredients, but there is like a uniqueness that comes with every single time.
Yeah.
Which
I
I
love it.
that's the spiritual part of it. That's like,
Have you
I,
connected to the ladies at Our Time Kitchen?
yes, yes. So
Okay.
when
Okay.
I opened, they were like, "Who wants to do a class?" They would like put it out the call to the chefs, and I was like, "Well, I'm not a chef, but I'm a
Yeah, yeah.
kid, so when y'all let me have a class," they were like, "Yes, let's do it." So I did my first class. It was like open to the public. And
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Because now they have their like backyard space, and I'm like feeling like that could be an indoor outdoor situation for you. So, Chef Cat is my cousin, so just thought of them when you mentioned liking to cook, but even beyond that, like yeah, we're gonna get you with one of these in
yeah,
one of these big kitchens somewhere
and
with
like
somebody.
because like I'd be like, okay, and I'm like, again, I get intimidated because
Yeah.
chef. But I love our time kitchen. Even outside of that cooking class, I hosted like a self care night for
Mm,
therapists and helping professionals there as well, where we could come in, we can meet in the kitchen, talk about some of the challenges that we are experiencing while we made a healthy, not just challenges, but also like opportunities that come
yeah.
while we made a healthy meal together and make some plans for self care. So
Yeah. I love it.
that space again. So, but yeah, I get a little intimidated because even with some of the things in there, I was like, and one of the chefs, the community there is beautiful. So one of the chefs was like, oh yeah, just use the fryer like this, and it turned it on, and I'm like,
Yes. No, it's
commercial.
a beautiful community. It's a beautiful community. And speaking of community, I'm really grateful that you are a part of this one, and would love for you to bring some of all the things you talked about with us today into the space with us, as we all grow together and navigate life, and for many of us, motherhood and all of the being a spouse, all the things,
Yeah, or
but appreciate
being a spouse, because I know about that story too. So all of the life transitions.
all the life transitions, and we're certainly in them, and that's been a big theme with the women who find themselves as in the well, or a part of the well, entering in during transitions, whether it's becoming mothers,
Mhm.
ending marriages, whatever, starting marriages, all of that, or just leaving, the corporate space for the first time. Like, those are major life transitions, and it's beautiful to be able to have community and be in community with people during and through them and on the other side. So thank you for trusting us, with your now and your later, hopefully, and that you are a part of this network, and for sharing your story today. I know you inspired somebody. I know somebody's like, oh, that's the kind of therapist I need. So if people want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Thank you. Yes, my website is www.therapywithjaree.com. Just straight to the point, www.therapywithjaree.com. All my information is there, along with, if you want to follow me on social media, there's links on that site as well, so that you can stay easily connected to not just sort of the home base of the website, but maybe some of the things that I might do in the moment, a pop up here or there, a new event, a group, me dancing or hula hooping, or, cooking in the kitchen or making a smoothie, like all of those things. You might be able to see a little bit of that as well. So that's the best way to reach me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jaree. I am appreciative of your wisdom, your time, your joy being
Thank
shared here with us, and looking forward to seeing you real soon.
Real soon. Thank you.
All right. Bye bye. Thank you all for joining us for another Well Woman Wednesday. We are happy that you're here. We don't take your time for granted. We hope you got something amazing out of it. Get in touch with Jaree at therapy@Jaree,
There.
therapy at with
With,
Jaree.
yes.
Com, and get in touch with us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, She's Well Network. You can follow us on Instagram at She's Well Network, and on LinkedIn at The Well Network. And just be in community, be in community, be in community. We cannot do this thing alone. We weren't meant to. It's necessary that you find people that can support you, but also add accountability, and also that you can just enjoy, because this ride is not an easy one, but it can be a joyful one. So thanks for joining us. Talk to you soon.